team guide to Po, Section Paloise. My boys, I'm wearing the t-shirt, I'm wearing my hat, I've got more stash in the background. Apologies if this is a little bit too wordy and a little bit too long, but I'm excited to present to you my side and give you as much information on a side a club that have suddenly become quite fashionable to support, maybe. Like, when I first became a fan back in going there in 2021 for my birthday, loved the experience, loved the city. It's beautiful views of the Pyrenees from pretty much anywhere in the town. They were like the kind of unfancied team. They're really unfashionable. Like, no one knew that much about them. They're very, very rarely on TV in the UK. They had a little bit when they were doing all right a couple of years ago, and Joe Simmons was playing and Dan Robson was playing. But last year they were barely on TV, and I was in France most of the times they were. Generally, they've been at the lower reaches of the top 14, but they have, for the first time in a long, long time, made it into the Champions Cup. They snuck in at 8th with a really impressive win at home to La Rochelle on the last day of the season. And what else do we need to know? Why are they suddenly so fashionable? Well, it's not the town and the Pyrenees and the cycling. It's the players, the youth, their philosophy, their style of play, and the coaching going on at Po, because it is exciting. They love to chuck it about. Joe Simmons is at the forefront of that. He's got some brilliantly talented outside backs, and he loves to wing it about. The head coach, Sebastien Picarones, is a former France under-20s in that, and he was France under-20s coach when they had that kind of period of domination where they were, I know they've been pretty good still, but they made finals and won them back-to-back. Sebastien Picarones was in charge, and he's kind of brought that kind of experience of coaching youngsters to Po, and Po, a club with a pretty modest budget that feels it's always a little bit bigger than I think it is, kind of in the rankings, but they're a pretty modest club. They like to play up the kind of Béarn region, kind of men of the land, men of the mountains sort of thing. So kind of like the slightly downtrodden and earthy characters. But they're playing some fantastic rugby. Like, some of the attacking talent, like some of their key players there are still so young. Emilien Gaeton and Théo Attisogbe are two future superstars of French rugby. Like, Gaeton maybe not as much as Attisogbe because there's just so much competition in that centre berth. But Théo Attisogbe, we have been fans for since he burst on the scene a couple of years ago. We've been banging on about him for years. It was so good to see him against the All Blacks hit the levels that we know he can hit, and just people see more of him, and like his all-round game is just top draw. Like, his best position probably is fullback. We've set up the Attisogbe's. Are you an Attisogbe? Like, how can you not be when you see him play? Like, fullback's his best position. It's great under the high ball. His boot is deceptively good, and just as a runner, so elusive. He had to fill in at 10, I think, in one game last year. Like, just developing the whole time. It feels like he's consistently improving. Thrilling player to watch. I watched a couple of games of Po, both at Stade de Hameau last year and then at the Real Arena in the derby game in San Sebastian. You're just hoping he gets the ball the whole time, and every time he's near the ball, you're so excited. Like, Gaeton is a fantastic try scorer. He steals a lot of the headlines. But the other young guys there, like, that they've got, Axel Desperez filled in a lot of 10. Like, when Joe Simmons got injured at the back end last year, it was like, oh, Po might get relegated. Joe Simmons, highest point scorer in the top 14 for the last 2 years. So consistent. He's the player that any Exeter fans or any Premiership fans will remember. Brilliant goal kicker. Directs his team around the park. Loves a bit of a run himself. Can fling it wide. But Axel Desperez, he got injured, and it felt like a kind of the end for Po. Like, genuine threat of relegation. Axel Desperez filled in pretty well. Young guy, absolutely tiny, like, really, I'm seeing him in the flesh as well, like up close in the bar afterwards, like really, really small, but like a really, really good kicking game and really high energy, and like gets himself about. Like, he's not shying away from tackles. Really promising player. Like, he'll continue to improve. He is the clear second choice now. And yeah, it'd be interesting to see how he develops. Cause I was really impressed with him in the games I saw him live, having been a little bit sceptical about whether he was quite cut out for it. They've got other young guys like starting regular, like Hugo Paru, 22-year-old Loosehead. He's a regular. He's probably now first choice at Loosehead. Their scrum isn't great and hasn't been great historically at Po, but to have put that amount of faith in a young Loosehead, really, really cool. And then the other young guys like Fabien Bralbery. If you've listened to our podcast, if you've watched any of our previews before, anytime we talk about Po, or under 20s, are just blooming. Like, this guy is so good. He is an absolute superstar. He is going to be a huge name in French rugby for years to come. Like, inside centre, can play out the back, like, play ball a lot, but deceptively physical, both sides of the ball. That game I mentioned in the Real Arena in San Sebastian, it felt like he was the only player capable of stopping Manu Tuolangi, and Manu was on the rampage in that game. And just ball it, like, knows his way to the try line, gets his way over the gain line, like, has that kind of ability of almost like a, kind of like a Jamie Roberts, but slightly with a bit more, like, subtlety. Like, just gets over the gain line, gets his team that half yard over the gain line every time, it feels like. Fabien Braubery, try and remember the name. Don't really, FBB, let's not bother with the spelling because it's a tricky one to spell, but you've got to remember FBB. What a player. And Thomas Sotheby, the other player there, just a really young, exciting scrum half, might get a bit of game time, but he's got a couple of experience ahead of him. Another young player that's a key cog to this side, Hugo Oredu, had a tough start to last season with the scandal with the Argentina stuff, but kind of got cleared of that and got brought back into the France side, looked a little bit callow still at a kind of international level in the Six Nations. I thought he was better over the summer. He can run a line out really, really well. Like, the line out at Po, the pack isn't great. He's not the most physical. He's still got some filling out to do, but his work rate and the way he runs the line out is fantastic. Key player. Lucas Ray, it'll be interesting to see how he goes because he was a club stalwart, club captain, really good hooker, helped their line out massively. He'll probably get overtaken once the Rugby Championship's done by Julian Montoya, who is one of the best signings in the top 14 this season, we think, because of the weaknesses that Po have. But Jimmy Maximin as well, another guy that really, like, big lump. I think he had a nasty injury towards the back end of last season, but when he was fit, like, he gave them that bulk that Po were missing, and I think the drop-off behind him to someone like Thomas Jolmes was quite stark. So hopefully Jimmy Maximin, alongside Hugo Oredu, will beef up that pack and be really consistent, but they have signed to address their weaknesses. They've signed one of the most physical hookers in world rugby. He was a top draw, leader, physical presence, great round the park in Julian Montoya. Facundo Issa was back to some red-hot form last year, ball carrying, absolutely fantastic, great work both sides of the ball. That will take a lot of the strain off Becca Gorgadze because it felt at times that if they were going to get any go forward, it had to be when Gorgadze was playing and when he was fit. Carwin Tuapoloto, when he came in, made a big impact. But Facundo Issa, he's going to take a lot of the strain off guys like Sasha Zagur and Becca Gorgadze. They'll be able to rotate and get more impact from those ball carriers rather than just relying. Like, they felt very easy to shut down when it was just Gorgadze because it's like, oh, that's the ball carrier, we can just shut him down. And Thomas Leclerc, a guy, tight head prop from Racing. He was previously at Oyonnax, was like a really promising tight head prop when he was at Oyonnax, got made into France squads, really struggled at Racing, didn't get much game time, didn't really develop much as we might have hoped. But again, Po have signed a relatively young, I think he's 27, signed in the Type 5, the area they need to address. Hopefully we will see that improvement from him. Hopefully Thomas Domingo, the forwards coach, can get improvement out of him. They lost a couple of club legends, but perhaps, or like real club servants in Tanguy Tanguvalu, Nacho Calles, Elliot Rudel have been there for years. But perhaps it feels like they've kind of moved on from those guys, even though they kind of were really consistent for them. And this is the time for even more young players to come through. It's an exciting time for Po and to be a Po fan back in the Champions Cup. But I am kind of weirdly not that confident. I don't know whether that's because you can't get your hopes up too quickly with Po. There's always a kind of step backwards as soon as you get your hopes up, or the fact that, like, this is the year. Like, there's a lot of rumours around Gaëtan. He's being hunted by, like, the best teams. He's being hunted by, like, Bordeaux, Toulouse, La Rochelle, Toulon. Like, the big clubs want to sign this guy. Can Po keep hold of him next year? This could be like their year where they have these guys hitting form and all together in the same bunch before they start losing some of these players, because they're impressing so much in the top 14. It's really, really interesting. I've gone for them to finish I just think with the Champions Cup they might not have the depth to back up the success of last season. There are other people that have got them kind of fighting for the top 6 and getting into those playoffs, which would be so cool. What do you think with Po? Do you know much about them? Are you interested to learn more? Please put some comments in. Let us know what you think. Ask your questions. Start a discussion. We want to hear from you. Get in the comments. Give this video a like and subscribe while you're at it. But thank you very much for watching. It was a pleasure to give you a video and an insight into my boys, Section Paloise, Allez Section. Go on.